In tonight's headlines, Taiwan celebrates 30 years of friendship with Belize. We look at the impact of the Belize Youth Challenge program, and the Solid Waste Management Authority discusses its new project. These stories and more on this week's edition of Belize Now. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, June 28, 2019. I am Erin Guzman. On Saturday, June 22nd, a fair was held at the Memorial Park in Belize City to celebrate the friendship between Belize and Taiwan. Our Belize Now team was there, and Janelle Rodriguez tells us more.
2019 marks 30 years of diplomatic relations between Belize and the Republic of China, Taiwan. Within those years, the two countries have collaborated in various areas, including education, security, health, infrastructural development, and culture. As a part of the celebrations marking this 30-year relationship, Taiwan-Belize Friendship Fair was held in a memorial park in Belize City. Over 40 booths lined Taiwan Street, showcasing a wide variety of cuisine, art, and culture of both nations. We spoke to some officials who told us how beneficial the relationship has been for both countries.
I think it's a very important relationship. I think it's a very strategic relationship for Belize. My constituency, the Albert constituency, has benefited personally from that relationship. Recently, the government of Taiwan has agreed to partly fund the establishment of our Albert Care Center, which will be used for youth development. And two of our young students from the Albert division have recently received scholarships to go to Taiwan, and so we see where the relationship has been mutually beneficial for both Belize and Taiwan.
I think this wonderful event should be sustained in the future. Every year we can have like a Taiwan Belize Day for friendship, for diplomatic ties. But today, with wonderful Taiwan Street, 45 booths celebrating this friendship. So I feel great, I feel wonderful, I feel so much wonderfully received by our Belizean friends.
I think it's wonderful. Taiwan has always been someone or a country that supports Belize in various different avenues, from technology to culture to history to celebrations. And we at Niche, we really appreciate all the contributions they do, both technical, manpower as well as financial.
Festival goers took advantage of the booths that offered more information on the collaboration between the two countries. Some of these individuals shared with us what they thought about the friendship between Taiwan and Belize.
It's a wonderful friendship. I think it's not easy for friendship to last like 30 years long. And Belize is always a best friend for Taiwan. Taiwan give a lot to Belize. And also, Belize give a lot to Taiwan, especially the friendship from Belize is what we need in the international society.
Friendship between Belize and Taiwan, I feel like it's a great friendship because it helps to give our Belizean students a privilege to go and study something that their parents cannot afford. We can't afford to send our children to Taiwan to study. And when they go there to study, they not only go to study, Taiwanese give them a stipend so to help themselves.
Well, from experience, I went to Taiwan last year for a scholarship program. And I believe that it is very enhancing, educating, and advancing. I believe that it's a beautiful relationship because being Taiwan, you feel the love. And also they being in Belize, they exchange the same love.
Belize has declared unwavering support for Taiwan on numerous international platforms as the two countries continue to strengthen diplomatic ties. For Belize Now, I am Janelle Rodriguez.
The government of Belize, through the Ministry with responsibility for investment, trade, and commerce, along with Bell Trade, has partnered with the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, to facilitate 2 investment missions to Belize. The objective is to increase foreign direct investments in prioritized industries and generate positive socio-economic impact in Belize. The mission started with a welcome event on Monday, June 24th in Belize City, where Honorable Tracy Panton, Minister of State with responsibility for investment, trade, and commerce, told us more.
These are business leaders, Taiwanese business leaders out of North America, United States and Canada, who have come to Belize for a week to assess for themselves the tourism potential here and to look at ways in which they can invest in the tourism infrastructure. It's for them to come and see and then hopefully go back to their communities in the US and Canada to discuss potential investment opportunities in the country.
It is envisioned that the investment mission will provide strategic industry insights through tailored meetings and site visits with key industry executives and decision makers in both the public and private sectors, matching the needs and interests of the delegates. Ambassador of Taiwan to Belize, His Excellency Remus Chen, spoke to us about the objective of the delegates.
We are here to explore the very, very wonderful great potential opportunities for investing in the tourism industry here. And we are very glad that this comprehensive, robust, and wonderful relationship between Belize and Taiwan will be actually further supplemented with this actually very important piece.
The mission seeks to explore investment opportunities in Belize's thriving tourism sector, which continues to serve as a key pillar for economic growth. The Belize Solid Waste Management Authority has embarked on its second round of construction of transfer stations under its Solid Waste Management Project 2. Under its first project, the authority constructed a regional sanitary landfill at Mile 24 on the George Burst Highway and closed down 4 major dump sites, which were replaced with transfer stations in Belize City, San Ignacio Santa Elena, San Pedro Kikoker, and Burrell Boom. SWAMA completed its first phase of projects in 2015, and a second project is currently underway. Here's what we learned about the Solid Waste Management Project 2.
It is estimated that annually, the over 380,000 citizens of Belize produce 130,000 tons of municipal solid waste. Since 2009, the government of Belize, through the Belize Solid Waste Management Authority, SWAMA, has constructed proper facilities to ensure the safe and proper disposal of solid waste under its first solid waste management project. Now, with the second phase of the project underway, Corozal, Orange Walk, Dangriga, Placencia, Punta Gorda, and Belmopan are set to benefit from transfer facilities which boast a new design. Tyrone Chimilio, Communications Officer at the Belize Solid Waste Management Authority, told us more about the project.
The first floor is where we're going to do majority of the recovery of the recyclable fraction of the waste. At the top is where we're going to be tipping the residual waste into the transfer trailer below. So one of the major campaigns behind Solid Waste Management Project 2 is separation of waste at the source. It's a voluntary process within those beneficiary municipalities to have a 2-bin system whereby we'll have regular garbage in one bin and mixed recyclable materials in another bin. We know that it's going to take some time to get people on board with that, but our campaign will be specifically to target these municipalities and to start that process in terms of how we're going to recover the recyclable fraction of the waste.
SWAMA has been working closely with municipal governments and stakeholders to implement its new project and promote recycling within those jurisdictions.
Currently, we continue to do public information sessions with stakeholders and, of course, the municipality in general. We have full support of those municipalities. We continue to work along with the councils so that to see how best we could be able to incorporate these changes. And, of course, our main objective is to create less pollution within the environment. And we're trusting that the Belizean public could be able to realize the importance of why we're implementing this project, the importance of source separation.
So what have been the benefits of these transfer stations?
Since the closure works have taken place and we have constructed these transfer stations, we have been able to recover more or less on average about 2% of the recyclable fraction of the waste. Yes, that could be improved, but the improvements on a whole have been in particular very good for those persons who access the transfer station. You no longer go to a dump, you go to the transfer station, you tip your load. We have the recyclers who do the sorting of that garbage. That garbage is then transported here to the regional sanitary landfill for final disposal. So the conditions have improved dramatically for those persons who utilize the transfer stations. And of course, it's better than having an open dump site.
Though the new project focuses more on source separation and recovery of recyclable materials, the central message remains: bag it, bin it.
We want people to get away from the throwing of garbage on the ground, throwing of garbage any way that they are. We want to continue to encourage residents to participate in their local system that you have and do your best to advocate to your neighbors, to your children, to your residents about the effects of illegally dumping waste within your area. It needs to stop.
For Belize Now, I am Janelle Mencius.
We'll have more stories after the break. Stay with us.
Belizeans, we are in the hurricane season.
Be prepared.
Make sure you have an emergency family plan to weather a storm or to evacuate if you live in a weak structure or low-lying area susceptible to flooding or storm surge. Know which shelter you would go and how exactly you would get there.
Be responsible.
Secure your home and assets, battening down roofs, boarding up doors and windows, and trimming overgrown trees. Where branches are near power lines, seek assistance from the experts at Belize Electricity Limited.
Be informed.
Monitor and adhere only to official updates and advisories from NEMO and the Belize Met Service.
Be wise.
Do not be led by rumors from unauthorized sources on social media or elsewhere.
Be organized.
If you and your family must evacuate to a shelter, pack enough food and water to last a minimum of 3 days.
Be considerate.
Do not carry excessive luggage or items to a shelter that could occupy unnecessary space or inconvenience others.
Be decisive.
If you are officially advised to evacuate, do so without delay, understanding that it is difficult or impossible for NEMO officials to rescue you or your family in the midst of a storm.
Remember, your safety and security is your first responsibility. Look out for yourself and your family and keep an eye out for your neighbors and community.
A message from the National Emergency Management Organization.
Thursday, June 20th marked the second passing out for the Belize Youth Challenge program. This year saw the successful completion of the program by 31 young men who enrolled in August 2018. Earlier this month, our Belize Now team visited the National Youth Cadet Compound to learn more. Janelle Mencius has that story.
For the last 10 months, 31 young men have made the National Youth Cadet Compound at Mile 21 on the George Price Highway their home. They left behind family and friends to accept the challenge put before them by the Belize Youth Challenge, BYC, a program jointly run by the Ministry of National Security and the Ministry of Human Development, Social Transformation and Poverty Alleviation. The program functions as an intervention, equipping at-risk young men aged 15 to 17 years with the necessary values, skills, education, and discipline to become successful adults. Anthony Castillo, Commandant for the BYC, shared more on the program.
It is a one-year residential program that caters for young males between the ages of 15 and 17, young males who may be at risk of running into conflict with the law, or for young men who may have run into conflict with the law or have behavioral problems. As I said, it's a one-year residential. They reside here at the facility at Mile 21, and they are taught varying vocational skills, academic program, and we use military-style discipline.
The Youth Challenge is modeled off a similar program run by the Louisiana National Guard, and likewise is co-managed by a local security force, the Belize Defense Force, BDF.
Coming from a military background, the members of the BDF have received the necessary training to work with the young men in the program.
We're here, of course, for the discipline. And a lot of us might say, why have the Belize Defense Force working with young men? Aren't they too rough? They're going to rough those boys up. Accept the challenge. Well, not really. In fact, upon joining two ministries or merging two ministries to be a part of this program, there are a number of classes that the members of the Belize Defense Force are to take. They did trauma care, they did the CCP, Core Correctional Practices. We've even visited our sister or parent school in Louisiana, where we did numerous classes in counseling and psychology, how to work with these young men, and how to get them prepared for the outside world.
While there is a strong focus on discipline, education is also a priority for the cadets enrolled in the BYC. In addition to their daily vocational classes, some cadets are enrolled in a computer-aided learning program, while others are prepared for their PSC and high school.
All the subjects which are taken during the PSC are taught here at the institution, and when the time is up to do the exam is brought up to the institution and they sit the exam right here at the facility. Also, while they are here, we have an online high school program where they could catch up wherever they may have left from and continue their high school education while at the facility. But after completing, they are encouraged then to go into the high schools as well.
Once the young men complete their first year, a new phase of the program kicks in.
They are either placed on the job for those who are prepared to go into the work field. They have others who may want to go into one of the ITVs throughout the country, or there are some who are now prepared to go into high school. And our social worker and our community rehabilitation officers work closely with these young men as a support, as a mentor, to guide them and support them for a following year.
Wayne Perry is one of the 22 cadets who successfully passed out from the BYC in its inaugural year. He is now enrolled in the electrical program at the IT Vet Belize City and has hopes of joining the BDF in October.
It helped me in my anger management, so I used to call it a lot of anger. Now I know how to manage my anger and madness. That's a long thing, miss, but in the end, you are prone, miss.
So what is the experience like for the young men whose day starts at 5 a.m.? We heard from Intake 2's top cadets.
The first thing you know as you wake, you spread a bed, you urinate, and you put on attendance for the physical training. Then after that, you come back, bathe, and get ready for the day's activities. So everything just blends in normally after a period of time. I came into the program with some ecocentric behaviors, not wanting to listen and having my own way. But when I realized this is my only chance to step up in life, I had to slow down and do the right thing.
Well, I didn't have many challenges. Just if you humble yourself and do good, you will flow with the program. And what I like best is the drill and command.
And what plans do these young men have for their future?
My plan is to go back to school again, Mom. Finish my school and join the police department, Mom.
I want to serve my country and not my country's streets. So then I'm going to follow my education and serve my country in the right way by joining the Belize Coast Guard.
Like Sergeant Iko and Corporal Sankey, other young men who have completed the program have also been given the green light to join the National Security Forces.
We extend the offer to any cadet that survived the challenge and is of the minimum age to enter into the next intake of the Belize Defense Force, the Belize Police Force, or the Belize Coast Guard. This Belize Youth Challenge program has earned you the entry pass. We will welcome you to join us in defending our land and our seas and to contribute to keeping the peace in our communities.
While parents may want to have their sons enrolled in the program, It is especially important that the young men themselves have a genuine interest in participating.
The program is voluntary. Once we've made our selections, the last thing we will do is send a child down the road. We try not to expel anybody from the program because after we do our screening, we think that this BYC program may just be the last stop for that young person before the Wagner's Youth Facility at the prison.
Before the recruits head to their new home, along with their parents, they are interviewed. We spoke to the parents of 2 incoming recruits who were at the Community Rehabilitation Department office for their interviews. They shared with us what sparked their interest in the program.
Well, the program it sounds good. Sometimes I meet people who went to it already before and they talk to me about it, and I say I will try to my son.
I hope for that they achieve something like be a police, for instance, BDF, Coast Guard, whatever, and for achieve nothing at all and just hang out and they'll get hurt or end up 6 feet underground.
2 years in, the Belize Youth Challenge has proven to be a large success.
This is our second intake, and our one-year plan has been very effective. We have accomplished almost 90% of what we've set out to do. We got the pilot project off the ground. We got the number of guys we wanted to get off the streets and into the program. We have done the lessons and the VOTEC classes that we've set out to do. There's still some stuff that we can improve on, and we'll work on that in year 3. But for now, I think we have made great strides and we're on the road to success.
And for parents and young men ready to take on the Belize Youth Challenge, the BYC team stands ready.
We have our social worker, we have our counselor, then we have our BDF cadre with the discipline to try to mold that young person. That after this 10-month program, he'll be prepared either for the workforce or also to continue his education.
We're ready to take on this challenge. We're ready to train our young men. We're ready to make them productive citizens. We just need them to come here.
As we celebrate your graduation today, the call goes to everyone to continue the work so that the Belize Youth Challenge will continue to be positioned to offer hope to our young men and someday young women, to enable them to rise to the challenges of growing up in an ever-changing world.
I, as a youth attending the Belize Youth Challenge program, realize that honesty in all things is the foundation of a good character. Therefore, I will not fight, lie, cheat, steal, smoke, or tolerate others who do. I pledge to uphold the laws and rules of the Belize Youth Challenge program. Sir, accept the challenge.
For Belize Now, I am Janelle Mencius.
Sergeant Sylvester Eco Jr. received awards for Most Outstanding Cadet and Highest Academic Average, while Corporal Delrick Sankey received an award for Outstanding Participation. The 3rd intake of the Belize Youth Challenge will commence their program in August 2019. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
On Wednesday, May 8th, Belizeans soundly decided to take the unfounded Guatemalan claim to the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. According to the special agreement, this is what happens next. 1. By June 8, 2019, the government of Belize will submit the 2008 special agreement to the ICJ. Guatemala has already done so since their referendum was held in 2018. This will give the ICJ official authority to hear the dispute and to deliver a final binding result. The ICJ will then prepare a notice of when the trial will commence. 2. Next, Guatemala will have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to submit their case to the ICJ. 3. Belize will then have up to 1 year, that's 12 months, to respond to Guatemala's submission. 4. From there, Guatemala will be given up to 6 months to reply to our arguments, and 5, Belize will then have up to 6 months thereafter to reply to Guatemala's response. 6. After the period of written arguments ends, the ICJ may allow additional pleadings, including oral arguments, and would set deadlines for those. 7. Once the timeline for arguments has ended, the ICJ will deliberate and make a ruling in accordance with the instructions and authorities granted to them by Belize and Guatemala, as per the 2008 Special Agreement. 8. After the ICJ's ruling is delivered, Belize and Guatemala will have 3 months to establish a joint commission to physically demarcate the boundaries between the two countries in accordance with the ICJ's ruling. The entire process will take no less than 4 years and can be as many as 6 years. This ICJ process will bring a final end to this long-standing Belize-Guatemala dispute. Belize and Guatemala will be able to put old divisions and antagonisms behind us and ensure that peace, development, and cooperation prevail.
The Directorate General for Foreign Trade, DGFT, has partnered with the Belize Coalition of Service Providers and the Belize Association of Information and Communication Technology Professionals to host the first Society of Women Coders SOW camp for girls. It will engage the intellectual curiosity of Belize's young women and provide an atmosphere for learning a skill which can develop their appetite for information technology. Keva Krishna, co-founder of SOW New York, explains how the success of the camp is measured.
It's through 3 major metrics: exposure, motivation, and retention. What we're doing here, the on-ground training we're doing here, is the part of our exposure metrics, which means that the number of girls we reach in a year. Motivation is the number of girls that sign up for our mentorship program after this camp. And retention is the number of girls who choose to pursue a career in IT eventually, or further education in IT, or incorporate IT in their lives in whatever form they want.
SOW Coders is a non-profit organization based in New York and led by young women working in technology. The organization's mission is to encourage young girls from developing nations to opt for careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics by conducting free coding and information camps for them in their home country. In her keynote address, Minister of State with responsibility for investment, trade, and commerce, Honorable Tracy Panton, explained how the camp links with the national trade policy.
The National Trade Policy speaks to the importance of trade in services, for which information and communication technology serves as an integral component. In fact, one of the policy prescriptions in the document is to promote the use of ICT in businesses, schools, and the wider population, so that we can remain at par, not only in this region, but globally.
The camp is being held from the 24th to the 28th of June 2019 at Gwen-Lizarraga High School in Belize City, and will be held from the 1st to the 5th of July 2019 at the Belmopan Comprehensive School in Belmopan. The Central Information Technology Office, CITO, will also be hosting a camp in July. CITO is offering children ages 7 to 12 an active, educational, and fun week of learning the basics of coding. Policy and Training Coordinator for CITO told us more.
It's very important to learn at this young age the importance of programming. Learning the basics of coding helps the children develop an appreciation for how things work. If you look around, almost everything is technology based. So in CITO's program, we want to teach children that Programming instills other skills like problem solving, critical thinking, even creativity. So at the end of the day, what we want to achieve is that the children will be able to develop a game where they will be able to think about something in general and try to bring this general idea to a smaller concept, right? So we want to instill in them that pride as well, that they were able to do something for themselves.
CITO will be incorporating a cybersecurity awareness component to the program. The children will be introduced to cybersecurity and internet safety tips through games.
Children are currently considered the most vulnerable target when it comes to cyberspace. So we want to use children-friendly activities to help them get aware as to how to be safe on this online world. So that is a new incorporation that we're adding to our summer program this year.
The program runs for 4 weeks. It starts on July 8th with the first 2 weeks catering to children aged 10 to 12, while the last 2 weeks will be catered to children aged 7 to 9. There are only 25 spaces per week. Parents can view the schedule on the registration form, which is available for download on CITO's website. The registration fee is $40 and is due by July 1st. And that's it for this edition of Belize Now. If you want to provide feedback or send in your comments, please feel free to email us at info@pressoffice.gov.bz or visit our Facebook page and let us know what you think. We look forward to hearing from you. From all of us here, have a great week. Until next time.